for joining in. I'll use my chip on Glasner. Yeah. If you still have your triple captain, it makes sense to use your triple captain chip this game week. Back-to-back double game week. Not the best fixtures, of course. Man City and Newcastle away, but definitely a good time to use your triple captain if you haven't done so already. Charlie, thanks for joining in. Hello, Charlie. Are you ready for double game week 32? Charlie, thanks for joining in. Hello, Charlie. Are you double game? Think I'm just about there with a roll season back on after K Green last week. My -4 made me 22 points despite selling Jared Bowen as part of it. What did you get last game week, Charlie? I actually had a decent game week myself, but no, definitely not a 450k green arrow. That's brilliant. Like, that's the game week I've been waiting for the last couple of months, probably since around Christmas, to be honest. I got 59 points last game week, so that's decent, but it gave me like a 200k green arrow that, so 450k is definitely really, really good. Decent week for me with 59, but 66 points in game week 31. Just to say congratulations, Brent Johnson and Jacob Murphy. Wow, I had none of them, so definitely having both Brent Johnson and Murphy, of course, that's two big differentials. So congratulations to Charlie for a really good game week 31. I'm really tempted to get Murphy this game week. It's kind of annoying that he did so well in game week 31, to be honest, because his ownership will definitely be a lot bigger than it would have been if it had been for those two kind of easy goals, I'd say, in game week 31. FPL FOMO, thanks for joining in as always. Really appreciate it. I'm hoping to do better than last week, just 40 points. I think 40 points was around average, wasn't it? Can't really remember the average, but the average for all players was 34. The average for active players maybe around 40. So 59 points for me, 66 for Charlie. That's massive. I think Murphy is a very good buy this week, but not great long term. Yeah, that's the reason why I'm really not that fond of just bringing in. But my plan has always been to bring in Anthony Gordon. When I wildcarded in game week 28, Anthony Gordon was suspended, so I knew that he was going to be available from game week 31. So the plan was to get him in for double game week 32, but he picked up an injury on England duty, so at the moment I'm not sure that he will start it too. So I think that it's a big risk involved in bringing in Gordon, so I think I'll just play it safe, sell Mbeumo, and bring in Jacob Murphy. Brent Johnson could have had a hat-trick as well, but he gave the penalty away. It was yeah, remember that. Still, I think 18 points. 18 points from Brent Johnson, 2 goals, 1 assist. I think, of course, still a really decent return from Brent Johnson. 9-point red arrow last week for me. But I think FPL FOMO, you had a decent rank. You, especially considering both Charlie and me, we have had terrible seasons so far. So 66 points for Charlie is massive. Charlie, I have some small dilemmas for my bench. Lacroix with a double versus Nico Williams against Everton. I think Nico gets clean sheet and Lacroix gets none, but I don't know. At the moment, I'm starting Nico, but if I had Lacroix, Glasner said that he was fit and probably will start both games. I think that the temptation of playing the double game week player will get to me, so if I had the opportunity to play a double game week player ahead of Nico Williams, I would probably do it in double game week 32, to be honest. At the moment, I actually have Guardiola on my bench with a decent fixture at home against Crystal Palace, but I have Mateta as well. That's the reasoning behind the Guardiola benching. Bowen is on my bench as well, tough fixture, and Anderson, of course, last on my bench. I'm really actually tempted to sell one of Mbeumo. Really decided if I sell Mbeumo, it will be for Jacob Murphy. If I sell Anderson, it will be for Share, I guess, or maybe Dan Burn. We'll do a transfer tonight before the stream is done, so I will bring in a third player. It will be Dan Burn or Shad, or in midfield, if I decide to sell Mbeumo, it will be Jacob Murphy. Not going Anthony Gordon, even though that was my initial plan. He has been injured. Not sure that he will start both games in double game week 32, so it makes sense to just bring in Jacob Murphy. It's a very good shout, but you do have Trippier already, to be frank. Yeah, I know. I already have defender from Newcastle, so it's 80-20, to be honest, considering the transfer for me this game week. I've also put it in text here. I will most probably sell Mbeumo and bring in Murphy. Yet he can't defend set pieces, so Shire will be good. Yeah, I know. One of the worst teams when we consider defensive set pieces, so I think Shire will do well, but hopefully Trippier can be on the delivering ends of those set pieces, so hopefully Trippier can bring some points against Man United. Thing is with Jacob Murphy, I know that I will get 2 starts. Anthony Gordon, I think that he is a better player, but I think it's too big of a risk to bring in Anthony Gordon when he hasn't really trained with the team ahead of a double game week. My triple captain is active. It's on Alexander Isak. We'll probably use it this game week. So the plan is actually to play the triple captain this game week, bench boost in double game week 33. If everyone's fit, I will possibly take a couple of hits to field a decent team in blank game week 34. If I get 1 or 2 injuries or suspensions, I will just play my free hits. If I can field a decent team in blank game week 34, I will save the free hit for double game week 36. So not yet decided on the chip strategy, but it will probably be triple captain in double game week 32. Bench boost in double game week 33. And the triple captain, and the free hit will be used in blank game week 34 or double game week 36. Didn't realize you had triple captain on. I've got a bad feeling about him. Newcastle only scoring 2 in double, but could easily be wrong. Oh, hopefully wrong. I watched the last Newcastle game, wasn't really impressed by Alexander Isak. I haven't really been impressed by him since around game week 20, to be honest, but we know that he is talisman in Newcastle. He is on penalty, so I'm hoping for some luck. I think that he will get 2 starts in double game week 32. 2 games at home. Man United not been the best, especially consider their defensive set pieces. So I can't see a goal against United. Nothing versus Palace personally. Yeah, would be, to be honest, I would be kind of disappointed if Alexander Isak only gets 1 goal in the double game week, but it's like we're in double game week 32 at the moment. The time is kind of running out. We know that there will be a double game week for Nottingham Forest, most probably. I think it's it. I would be really annoyed if I didn't play my triple captain in double game week 32, because this has actually been the plan since around game week, I'm not really sure, but around game week 21, 22, we know this fixture has been known for so long. The Newcastle Crystal Palace fixture, we knew that it probably would be in this game week. Can't really remember the date, but I posted about triple captain Alexander Isak, feels like 2 months ago. That's not the main reason, but I still think that he's a really good option, of course, but another factor is that Haaland is injured. We know Man City will have a decent week, but can we really trust Marmoush? Watched the Man City game in game week 31 and I wasn't really impressed by Marmoush, to be honest. So let's have a look. Possible transfers. So thing is with Mbeumo, I don't like his fixture in double game week 32, playing away against Arsenal. Decent fixture, of course, at home against Brighton, but then again, tough fixture in blank game week 34. So if I decide to use my free hit in blank game week 34, of course, then I will avoid Mbeumo. So I will have him back for the fixture at home against Man United. Then I'll have Mbeumo ready for Ipswich, Fulham, and then Wolves. But he's selected by 35% of the managers. I'm not satisfied with my rank. I need some differentials in the run-in. So selling Mbeumo hasn't been that good recently. So selling Mbeumo actually makes sense. Of course, the safe option is to just keep Mbeumo and sell someone like Neto. I think at the moment for my team and in the position that I put myself in, selling Mbeumo to Jacob Murphy makes sense. To be honest, there's no more good times for the chip, so it's probably one of the best, if not the best, to use this week. Yeah, that's my reasoning as well. I know that there will be a couple of other double game weeks. I talked about this in my team selection video as well. We will probably see 2 teams having a double in double game week 36 due to the FA Cup final, but of course, 2 teams reaching the final will result in 4 teams having a double game week. But I think that Alexander Isak at the moment is still a lot to be decided in the Premier League. In game week 36, there will possibly be a couple of teams on the beach as well. We know this in the last couple of games in the season. We know that when like the top scorer is decided, the positions are decided, we know that some teams tends to just switch off. So I think double game week 32 is the best game week to use the triple captain if you haven't done so already. So Alexander Isak will probably be my triple captain this game week. What's your rank now and your aim for game week 38? Let's have a quick look. My rank at the moment is 1.6 million, so considering we're in game week 32, that's pretty rubbish, to be honest. These are my ranks so far. In 14-15 I joined in mid-season, so that rank doesn't really count, but I got a grip of the game, and in the 15-16 season I had a good season, reaching the top 10k for the first time. Next season, really good season, my best so far, with 157 in the world, 34k, 21k, a new top 1k rank in the 1920 season, 17k, which is decent, 29, which is not that bad. Last couple of seasons not been that great, but when we compare those seasons to 1.6 million, it's, yeah, it's not really good, to be honest. So it will be, not sure if I can show my previous season ranks after this season, to be honest. My 24-25 rank will be worse than when I first joined the game in 14-15 season, and that was like mid-season or maybe just before Christmas, something like that. So I think I'll just do the Mbeumo to Jacob Murphy transfer. I've been talking about it all week, discussed it in my team selection video as well, so I can't really see a reason not to just sell Mbeumo, bring in Jacob Murphy. Probably be done. Let me know what you think in the comments. There's still tons of time left, to be frank. Yeah, I know that I'll probably, considering I haven't used my bench boost, I haven't used my triple captainship, hopefully I can like claw back another couple of 100k ranks, but it will definitely not be one of my top 5 seasons. So we have 3 ships left to, yeah, the bench boost, triple captain, and the free hits, of course, they will have an impact. So hopefully, I'm hoping to get inside the top 1 million, but I need to make a couple of decisions, and selling Mbeumo is one of them. He's, as mentioned, selected by 35% of the managers, so I need to sell a couple of well-owned players and bring in some differentials. Possibly need to take a couple of hits as well, take some risks. If I end up being 1.6 or 1.4, 1.8, doesn't really matter, to be honest. So the last 8 game weeks of the season, I will be ready to take some punts. No Mo Salah, no Cole Palmer. I already take some risk by not owning, but I'm ready to sell Mbeumo and bring in Murphy. Ideal would be to bring in Anthony Gordon, but I can't really see him start 2 times in double game week 32, so I can't be making transfer sense, even though I'm not satisfied with my rank. So one good week and you're there. I thought my season was over, and then after I got so lucky, I'm into top 1 million. This has like been my thought. I think we discussed it earlier, Charlie. I actually have been waiting for that game week that you luckily had in game week 31. I'm really glad for you, but hopefully double game week 32 will be my game week. I had a decent game week last game week as well. So 59 points. Can't really complain about game week 1. So if I get a new game week like game week 31, I will be satisfied. At your rank, most people will only have like 3 doublers. So with 6, we'll have a new huge advantage. Yeah, I definitely agree. At 1.6, I'm not sure how active the players are, to be honest. I think that they're, with the amount of players, I think that there's possibly 5 million active players, but how well have they planned? Not really sure. I'm sure that you're right. Most people at 1.6 will not have predicted the FA Cup results and stuff like that. So probably not 6 doublers without taking hits. So I will have a huge advantage, as you say. So hopefully a new green arrow for me. And of course, if Alexander Isak does well, in double game with 32, I could possibly actually break into the top 1 million this game week, but need Alexander Isak to score a couple of goals. I was so close last game week, to be honest. I had 59 points, big green arrow, but my captain blanked. Have you had a look at your team for next game week on a planning app? I had a quick look on the Plan FPL app. Team looks decent. Will probably use my bench boosts. What do you think Alexander Isak effective ownership will be in around 1-2 point mil area? I think he'll be 196. That was specific or something. So triple goal would be huge. I actually think that close to 200. I think that's probably a bit high. I think Alexander Isak effective ownership will be around 140, 150 maybe. There are a lot of managers that have used their triple captain already. A lot of players played it early on Erling Haaland. Game week 2 was a really popular week when Man City had Ipswich. Of course, Haaland smashed it with a hat-trick, so that was a great game week for the triple captain. And one of the reasons why my season gone so wrong, I did not own Haaland at that point. But considering that a lot of managers already have used their triple captainship, and Mo Salah, he's fit, he will start. I think that a lot of managers will captain Mo Salah as well, even though there are a double game week for players like Alexander Isak and Mateta. I think that some managers still would prefer to captain Mo Salah. He's been so good in the last 6 months, so the players that don't make transfers and haven't done any changes to their team will probably have Mo Salah as their captain. So we've seen Mo Salah actually be close to 200% effective ownership, but can't really see Alexander Isak that highly next game week, even though Newcastle have 2 home fixtures in double game week 32. So my guess would be like 150. I think 196 probably is a bit high, to be honest. Okay, let's see. Let's just make that transfer. So one of the reasons why I'm just so sure about bringing in a third Newcastle player is that I haven't yet decided when it comes to blank game week 34 if I'll use my free hit or just take a couple of hits to field a decent team. So by bringing in Newcastle players, at least I know that they will have a fixture. So in my position, it's kind of safe to just bring in Newcastle players because they have a double game week in double game week 32 and they have a fixture in blank game week 34. So Murphy in looks really good on paper in my opinion. Raya against Brentford, Trippier, Murphy and Alexander Isak with a double game week. I have Nico Williams, decent fixture at home against Everton. Munoz, Esse and Mateta, double game week for them as well. Not the best fixtures, of course. We know they will play 2 games away. Man City and Newcastle, not the easiest opponents, but still a double game week. Neto, I will probably start Neto ahead of Jared Bowen. I really like Jared Bowen playing out of position as West Ham's number 9, but away against Liverpool, I think I prefer Pedro Neto. Saka, not really sure about Saka. I'm actually kind of tempted to just play Guardiola, but I have Mateta, so it makes sense to bench Guardiola because a Guardiola clean sheet will cancel. A Guardiola and Trippier clean sheet will cancel out Mateta, so by benching Guardiola, I will celebrate those Mateta points. Marmoush, he will start playing against Crystal Palace, even though I have Munoz. So I really like this team, to be honest. No hard decision when it comes to my goalkeeper. Raya against Brentford at home. Easy ahead of Areola against Liverpool. So actually like this team. Hopefully, as you mentioned, Charlie, it will be a new green arrow. Wonder how high Mateta will be. I don't own, as I have Joao Pedro in that spot, and don't think it's worth a -4 to sell Joao Pedro and Lacroix before Leicester, the double. So we'll swerve. Yeah. When we consider the fixtures, I think it makes sense to just swerve and avoid Mateta. I'll show you a graphic when it comes to Crystal Palace opponents in game week 32. Give me a minute. These are Mateta's stats. I'm sorry, these are Mateta's opponent's defensive stats ahead of double game week 32, playing away against Man City, away against Newcastle. Man City, they have kept 2 clean sheets. Newcastle have kept 2 clean sheets. They've only conceded 3 goals each in the last 4 game weeks. And what's more impressive is that Man City, they have actually only conceded 4 big chances in 4 game weeks. Newcastle, 5, pretty impressive as well. Shots on target, only 9 for Man City, 10 shots on target conceded for Newcastle. Man City, the best in the league when we consider expected goals conceded, 3.75. Newcastle 4.26, which is, can't really remember, but it's maybe 3rd or 4th, something like that. So really impressive defensive stats for both Man City and Newcastle. So I can't really see Mateta having a field day in any of those games. So not owning Mateta, even though Crystal Palace have a double game week in double game week 32. I don't really think that it's the end of the world, to be honest. The thing is with Crystal Palace is the fact that they actually have back-to-back doubles. So they have 2 fixtures in double game week 32, 2 fixtures in double game week 33 as well. So I can see both Palace games ending 1-1 personally. Palace are actually in good form as well. So 2 low-scoring games, 1-1 in both. Not the worst guess, I suppose. I think that Man City is really hard to predict these days, but 1-1 in both games would make sense. I think that Man City will win against Crystal Palace, 1-1 against Newcastle. So if I had to make a guess ahead of double game week 32, I'd say Man City 2-1, Newcastle 1-1. And hopefully, of course, Mateta and especially Alexander Isak will be the one scoring the goals. 2 home fixtures for Newcastle. Really excited. I'll put up some stats for Newcastle as well. Give me a minute. Let's see. Alexander Isak. So this is the graphic for Newcastle and Alexander Isak playing 2 home games against Crystal Palace. Two clean sheets for Man United. Crystal Palace, they have kept 1. Actually, kind of impressive from both Man United and Crystal Palace as well. Man United, they have only conceded 2 goals in their last 4 games, while Crystal Palace have conceded 3 goals. Big chances, 6. Man United, that's really impressive. I think it's like just, I think Man City is first, Newcastle third, and Man United 4th or 5th. Maybe Arsenal are ahead of them, but conceding 6 big chances in 4 game weeks, that's pretty good. 9 for Crystal Palace. It's even when we take a look at shots on target conceded, 16-16, and decent expected goals as well. 3 points and 3.54 for Crystal Palace. So pretty even when we consider their defensive stats. I saw a stat earlier saying that Man United and Palace have conceded less combined away than Newcastle and Man City at home. Shows Palace games could be better. Might be something in this. Haven't really looked at how they have done away and at home. I just think that, of course, as always, there is a slight advantage playing at home. Normally there is, of course, but there could be something in this. We've seen teams earlier play really good at home or even away, so Crystal Palace games might be better if this is true, but I really fancy Newcastle doing well at home against Man United and Crystal Palace in double game 32. So I know that stats can tell us something, but I think there's still something in the home advantage, to be honest. So to be honest, Charlie, haven't really looked, as mentioned, haven't really looked into how they have performed at home versus away. But seeing that Newcastle have 2 games at the St. James's Park, I think that Alexander Isak will be my preferred option for double game week 32. But my point is that both Man City and Newcastle, really impressive defensive stats. Man City and Crystal Palace haven't been that bad either, so not the best fixtures for the double game week players, but as we talked about, I think that this is probably the best game week to play the triple captainship and just get it out of the way. We know Alexander Isak is fit. 2 home games. My fingers are crossed. Fair enough, I think Newcastle will score the same, but my predictions are very hit or miss, yeah. The bookies really believe in Alexander Isak ahead of double game week 32 as well. They actually think that I ahead of every game week I go into the bookies and I transform their odds into percentages, and I think that this game week probably is the highest for any player so far this game week. Possibly Holland had a higher percentage ahead of game week 2 when they played Ipswich, but Alexander Isak is on 68% to score in double game week 32. Usually we see like Haaland and Salah close to 60, maybe a bit above 60, but Alexander Isak is the bookie's favorite ahead of double game week 32 with 68%. Newcastle are also the favorites when we consider clean sheet odds, 58. So hopefully this will be a good game week for Newcastle, and hopefully the planning will be rewarded in double game week 32. Triple Newcastle, triple Crystal Palace. Decent fixtures for my other players as well. So this has been planned since playing my wildcard in game week 28. So hopefully this will be a game week where I can't really expect to break into the one top million. I need Alexander Isak to do something special, but hopefully I'll get a new green arrow. I believe Newcastle keep a clean sheet against United, to be honest. Yeah, I actually read something about Bruno Fernandes being rested. Can't really see it, but especially if Bruno Fernandes is rested against Newcastle, I definitely think that Newcastle have a great chance of keeping a clean sheet. I really need a Joao Pedro goal this week. I really like Joao Pedro as a fantasy asset, to be honest. Was it like game week 28? Blank game week 29. He was actually expected to be benched because Welbeck was back. Welbeck, he was ill, didn't play. Joao Pedro started, scored a penalty. Was it against? Let's have a quick look. They had a tough fixture as well that game week, Brighton. It was a bit back, to be honest. It was game week 28. Joao Pedro scored, picked up 3 bonus against Fulham at home. Game week 27. Brighton 2-1. Joao Pedro goal, 2 bonus points. So game week 27 and game week 28, I had Joao Pedro those weeks. So I think I've owned Joao Pedro at 2 different times this season so far. Really like him as an FPL option. Only thing with him is that at the moment he's not completely nailed. If he was, he would probably be in my team ahead of Marmoush, but I can't see a Joao Pedro benching as well. But we know that when he plays, he is on penalties. We saw this against Arsenal in game week. Getting old, can't remember. Can't remember the actual game weeks. Game week 20. Really tough fixture for Brighton playing against Arsenal. Arsenal, they were in really good form at that point. Game week 20 was just after New Year's Eve, 4th of January. Brighton played against Arsenal. A lot of FPL managers sold Joe Pedro ahead of this fixture, but he scored. He picked up 3 bonus points as well. I think that he was the one getting the penalty as well. I think it was a high foot to his head, something like that. So, yeah, pretty sure. Maybe I'm not that old, because I can't remember a game from the 4th of January. But probably everyone remembers this. So this will probably be my team. Raya in goal, Trippier, Williams and Munoz in defense. Pedro Neto, I'm starting him. I'm 80% sure of just starting Neto. He was benched in game from Pedro Neto when he came on last 30 minutes for Chelsea in game week 31. Saka, can't really bench him, to be honest. Positive comments from Arteta as well. He might be benched, but I will probably just play Saka in double game week 32. SA, of course, with 2 fixtures. Murphy, my new signing, he will start. Alexander Isak, triple captain. Mateta, no doubt that he will start. And of course, Marmoush as well. This means that my bench is actually quite strong. Guardiola, decent fixture at home against Crystal Palace. I will bench him because I have a triple Crystal Palace in my team. Jared Bowen, tough fixture against Liverpool. And Anderson is on my bench as well. He's good at penalties. I think he will definitely start this week and hopefully win a penalty. Yeah, that's one extra bonus with players like Joe Pedro. If, like I just showed from the Arsenal game, the 4th of January, if they get a penalty, he will probably score. So around that time, he was actually a differential for me in and around Christmas. A lot of managers sold him. He was actually yellow flagged at some point as well, so a lot of FPL managers sold him. I kept faith in Joao Pedro and was rewarded in game week 20. So hopefully, Charlie, for you, the patience will pay off and that he can do well in double game week 32. Really good fixture as well. Brighton, they are actually second when we consider the bookies' favorites for clean sheets. So home game against Leicester, 49%. I just mentioned that Newcastle, they are favorites with 55% chance of a clean sheet. Brighton, they are not far behind, 49% compared to Newcastle's 55. Third on the list when we talk about bookies clean sheet odds is Liverpool for their home game against West Ham. I'm getting a late temptation from Asensio, but I can't bench anyone, and not for Marmoush. Maybe what feels like was, yeah. I actually like Asensio as well, and I really like targeting Southampton, but can't really see myself taking a hit this game week and bench any of my players to bring in Aston Villa assets, especially with Jared Bowen and Guardiola on my bench. I can't really see myself taking a hit, so this will probably be my team. I might take a hit for double game week 32. I might actually plan to take a hit next game week and then take a new hit in blank game week 34 and just save the free hit for double game week 36. So if all my players are fit, I will probably save the free hit for blank game week, for double game week 36. So at the moment, my available players for blank game week 34, I have Anderson, really good fixture playing against Southampton. I have Jared Bowen as well. Areola will start in goal. Alexander Isak will play. Murphy. Neto will play as well, so that's 6. Nico Williams, Trippier will play. So at the moment, I have 8 players available for blank game week 34. The blank players will be, of course, the Man City assets: Guardiola, Marmoush, Mateta, Isak. So basically the Man City, Crystal Palace, and not Newcastle, the Man City and Crystal Palace assets, and of course Saka. Raya blanking is not a big problem, as I already have Areola on my bench. But I see the temptation of getting Asensio. Good fixture in double game week 32 and a double game week in double game week 34. 33, I'm sorry, I'm mixing up them. I can't really see it being beneficial to take a hit to bring in someone this game week, considering that our teams are that strong. The possibility of benching points is really high. Guardiola, Jared Bowen, Anderson as well. Of course, to maximize the potential points, benching Marmoush for anyone with a Crystal Palace defenders would kind of make sense, because if you have a Crystal Palace defender, you would want them to keep a clean sheet that game week. But if you have Marmoush, I'd say just play him in double game week 32. He will start, and of course Man City can beat Crystal Palace any day. So Marmoush ownership, I know that a lot of FPL managers have brought in Marmoush recently, but his ownership is still below 30%. So yeah, I'd say just play Marmoush. Let's take a quick look at Alexander Isak's ownership. It's 61%. We talked about his effective ownership. I think my guess was like 140, 150, around that. Can't really see it getting any higher. Will be a lot of captains, of course, for Alexander Isak, but not the same numbers as we saw with Mo Salah 1 month ago. Can't really see that happening. So this will be my team. Hopefully a new green arrow. Hopefully for you as well, Charlie, and for anyone who is watching this. Hopefully double game week 32 will be a productive game week. And hopefully the planning will be rewarded. So 2 teams with double, Crystal Palace and Newcastle. I'm tripled up on both teams. Decent fixtures for my other players as well. Triple captain active. If I don't get a green arrow this game week, I'm not sure. I've already said that this is not my season, but if I don't get a green arrow, then we can confirm that this is definitely not my season. But thanks for joining in, and best of luck for Double Game Week 32. Have a nice weekend, and of course, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, like this stream as well, and go watch the Game Week 32 team selection video. Thanks for the support, and as mentioned, have a nice weekend and best of luck in Double Game Week 32.